California is an overrated dump. I was born and raised in California, and lived there for over 2 decades, growing up and attending college there and being a titan, then grad school where I became an anteater. You locals know what I'm talking about. California, unless you live near the coast, is a dump. Los Angeles is a horrible dirty city with lots of crime, and the places where people want to actually be, West LA, is overpriced, and where people can actually afford to live is in the hot-ass Valley or Inland Empire, where the 909 commuters spend 2 hours a day commuting west and back for their jobs. The mountains in Northern California are nice, and it's a short drive from the Bay Area, where there is literal shit on the streets and is a literal shithole, not exaggerating about this. Prices are ludicrous, crowds and traffic is ridiculous anywhere in the state, and the places that are affordable you don't want to live: Stockton, Fresno, Bakersfield. It takes about 7 to 8 hours to get into the mountains from SoCal, so you might as well take a road trip from another state that's cheaper and visit CA when you want to. People are rude here, taxes are insane, and our freeway systems were designed with no thought into them. Not to mention jobs are fucking hard as hell to get, with 40+ million people applying for the same jobs and everyone else wants to be here. For those of you who haven't been born and raised here, it's easy to say how we're number one, but until you live here long term you don't know the actual problems and see how poorly the state is run, like how San Bernardino and Stockton went bankrupt and CalPERS is severely underfunded. Instead of fixing the homeless crisis and public schools, K-12, our state is focused on trivial pursuits like banning plastic straws from coffee shops. California's scenery is best observed from a distance and on vacations. But not when you have to pay up the ass for it in taxes, cost of living, commute time, and the general assholes who live here. Not to mention the ghettos are actual ghettos, and the crime is through the roof in many parts of Los Angeles and San Francisco. Even Moreno Valley is going down the drain, and San Bernardino/Ontario isn't much better. Oh, and good luck paying those property taxes once Prop 13 is repealed. Edit, but the weather is really great. Well, yeah, that's true if you live within 20 miles of the coast. If you're in Riverside or San Bernardino, Central Valley, Sacramento, etc. Good luck. Honestly, California is a dump if you're poor. La Jolla, Malibu, Santa Barbara, Big Sur, Monterey, Carmel, Big Bear, Yosemite, parts of San Francisco, Napa, Calistoga, St. Helena, the mountains, the beaches, the redwood forests, etc. California is a beautiful place for anyone lucky enough to experience the better parts of it. It takes about 7 to 8 hours to get into the mountains from SoCal. What mountains specifically are you talking about? Anyone in the lower LA area/OC can get to San Bernardino Mountains or Big Bear in 2 to 3 hours. I've lived in CA for 20 years now. I kind of like it. Live in Pasadena. It's a chill place. Got no complaints. Yes. Yes. Continue whispering these sweet nothings in the ears of people who don't live in California so they will stop moving here. Carrot, there's too many people, stay where you are please. Hey, I live in Riverside, and the weather isn't great. A few years ago it rained. It ****ing rained. I had to wear long ****ing sleeves. I can't believe how horrible this place is. Our weather sucked. On a serious note though, our schools are terrible, but I think that's just all of California, although our weather is pretty good. I was born and raised in California. I've moved out of the state numerous times and it never sticks. I always come back because I love it too much to leave. Have lived in Anaheim, Folsom, and currently in Santa Cruz. California is dope as fuck, man. Sorry you didn't vibe with it. I've lived in New York and New Jersey. California is YAAI better. It seems that way, since people have been moving out of California at a noticeable rate for some time. As a California local, here's an unpopular California opinion of mine: the Central Valley and the Inland Empire are the best parts of California. I actually really like both them. I don't see why everyone says they're both bad places to live other than the hot weather, which I don't mind. Let's be fair here, California sucks if you're poor. But I've got news for you, everywhere sucks if you're poor. So really, I get why people like it somewhere less expensive. To totally makes them less poor. I currently live in Orange County and the snow/mountains are definitely not 7 hours away. It's 1 to 2 hours to Big Bear/Arrowhead, which have plenty of skiing and snow this time of year. Sure, it's pricey, but if you can afford it, I have no complaints about my childhood and growing up here. I got great food, beaches, mountains in the distance, 2 great cities in Los Angeles and San Diego nearby. San Diego is the best city in SoCal and CA as a whole, by far. Only thing that does need work is the traffic problem, which most likely will never get better. I'd still choose it any day over 99% of other places in the U.S. This opinion gets posted at least once a month. You've clearly never been to San Diego, the greatest city in the history of mankind. I'm just going to copy-paste this from the last weekly post of this opinion. Highest homelessness in the US is not California, it's DC, followed by New York, Hawaii, and Oregon. Source: https://www. Statista.com/statistics/72787/homelessness rate in the US by state/. Yes, California has the highest gross state debt, but if you look at debt compared to GDP output, it's not even in the top 5. The highest are New York, South Carolina, and Rhode Island. Source: https://how much net/article/comparing spending and gross state product in each state. Crime rate. Highest crime rate is DC, followed by Alaska, New Mexico, and Tennessee. Once again, California is not even in the top 10. Source: https://www. Statista.com/statistics/200445/ reported violent crime rate in the US states/. Let's look at actual quality of life. What states have the highest poverty rates? Mississippi, New Mexico, Louisiana, West Virginia, Kentucky, Alabama, Arkansas, Oklahoma. What states have the lowest rates of college education? Mississippi, Arkansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Nevada, Alabama, Oklahoma. What about lowest life expectancy? Mississippi, West Virginia, Alabama, Kentucky, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Louisiana. Highest incarceration rate per capita? Oklahoma, Louisiana, Mississippi, Georgia, Alabama, Arkansas, Texas. Highest gun murder rate? Louisiana, Missouri, South Carolina, Alaska. Highest rate of teen pregnancy? Arkansas, Mississippi, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Kentucky, New Mexico, Texas. Basically everywhere is a shithole. California is peachy in comparison. It's a overrated dump, but it's my overrated dump. But they are affordable places in California. It's just outside the Bay Area and LA. The problem is most don't want to live outside those two regions. Then they start complaining that California is too expensive. I did not realize how good I have it living in California. I'm sure you can take almost any state and break it down into sections, and some will be great and some will suck. Cost of living is a huge factor in California though. Pretty much if it's nice to live in an area, it's expensive. I live in San Jose, so it's less crowded than San Francisco and no shit on the ground, lol. It's close to the beach and mountains and only 3 hours to drive to the snow. I've never had any issues getting a job. I even switched careers at 30 and was never out of work. The weather is great, at least in San Jose. Never gets super cold and rarely gets above 100 and with low humidity. I see a post like this at least once a month. I was born and raised in California and lived here almost 3 decades. I never thought California was number 1. I didn't even know there was a fucking contest regarding what the best state was until I started seeing wonkers on Reddit post about how terrible California is once a month. To most people that live here, myself included, California just another state. I've not once, in my 30 years of being here, ever heard anyone boast about California. That being said, since we're having a contest and everything, California still has the highest GDP out of any US state by far. You can talk about how California is not number one once that stops being true. There is nothing more important in life than money. A lot of what you said is true, but I'm good. I'm a half mile from the beach. I'll tell you what I say to every Californian who doesn't like it here. Please leave. I love living in California and I don't envision myself ever living anywhere else, but really unless you live by the coast, it can be a tragic place. LA County has cool places, but is also super sketchy, but so can any place be. Riverside County is tragic. San Diego County kind of fades into the background of Orange County. And honestly, SoCal and NorCal are like two different states from my experience. Very much prefer SoCal just because of honest bias since I grew up here. But yeah, like Op said, unless you live by the coast it can get kinda weird. My hometown is in OC, so I'm content, and heck yeah Op, I come from a family of Tritons as well and have recently applied to become an anteater, so I get what you're talking about. OMG, a city has both rich and poor people, impossible. I live 3 hours from the Bay and 4 from LA, not sure how far those mountains you're talking about are, and while I agree on the whole it can be a real shit show, I've watched homeless folks in SFO the Purdy Pearl by the ocean take shits with an elbow on each bumper of cars in the streets. I'd argue that it still offers culture, arts, cuisine that is second to none, with sights like no other, i.e. Golden Gate Bridge, Palace of Fine Arts, Yosemite, Lassen, Big Sur, the Redwood, Sequoias, etc., 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 etc. It's hard to argue why people from literally around the globe desire to see this great state. I came from the Bay but worked in SoCal along with the majority of the state and traveled throughout the West Coast. Oregon, Washington, Arizona are all just Cali too. 0 with the vast majority of the new populace from California. Even Coloradans were just transplanted Californians, and for the most part I'd say it's a good thing most of us have been exposed to a multitude of cultures and people and are generally better for it. Myself, I have since transplanted from the Bay to a mountain ranch and am all the better for it, but still in state where the weather is nearly perfect year round, the grass is green, the girls are pretty, the beach is warm and sandy, and the weed is the kind that's sticky. I love LA, the food and art is bomb. Yes, the cities are nasty but most people avoid the city areas, lol. Los Feliz, Silver Lake, Santa Monica, Pasadena, Glendale, not to mention the wizarding world of Harry Potter. Also all of the coast is beautiful. Driving through the one is freaking amazing. Stopping in all of the coastal cities like Monterey, Pismo, Cambria, etc. is fucking magical. The parks are gorgeous too. Yosemite, Shasta, Muir Woods, etc. California's gorgeous. Just avoid the nasty and the techies. This opinion pops up about once a month. All the comments are always the same. You either love it or you hate it. I've noticed SoCal is a mix of the best and worst things of this country. It's raw. You mentioned like all the worst places in California. San Bernardino? Actual LA city, not county. SF. No wonder why you think it sucks. Been in Burbank for 3 years, love the shit out of this place. Then again, I'm living the dream working in film music in my own studio within my first year here. Yet it can be expensive, not much different than the city of Chicago from which I came, crowded, and people can be dicks, but I really think it comes to how you design your life. My studio is 0.8 miles from my house by intent. Sure, the valley can get crazy hot, but I'll take it over -30 degrees. Fuck that fucking shit for fucking Jever. Sorry, Kiten victory hand. This post is popular with the mega crowd. Great. More people, please move out of California. Yep, it's awful. Please don't come here. A lot of California problems are the fact that we're overpopulated, and we're overpopulated because it's actually a nice place to live. When I think of the alternatives like Florida, it's no contest, California is just way better, but yet it has problems just like every state does. I feel very safe where I live, and every place I've lived in California to walk around after midnight without any fear, once you learn the places to avoid, usually parks and bad neighborhoods at night. I've known a lot of people that moved to Texas and over half of them moved back because they couldn't take how awful it was. Some people stayed over there, however they were white and Christian, and I don't think that was a coincidence.